All right, good morning, everybody. Appreciate you being here. To wrap up Saturday, obviously, like I said, after the game, extremely disappointing performance. For the things that that go into the preparation, the work, obviously all elements that go into that to go try to be the best you can be whenever the game kicks off. I thought our guys, I thought there was a good week of preparation, in regards to even having to adapt and adjust to some of the changes with the storm and all things there. There in the first half, I thought we showed some well in some areas. We had a couple mistakes, things that cost us. We got down inside the 5-yard line, weren't able to score. Had a bust in a coverage, which allowed a explosive touchdown. We didn't play as good as we could, but we're still going into halftime as a 5-point game. Coming out in the second half, obviously kind of a disaster play on the drop ball, tip ball, interception. That gave them a short field, and obviously a quick score. I didn't think that we responded as well to adversity, as what we need to, and is what I believe that we're capable of. And we got to a point where even when we scored, it went to a 12-point game. We came out. I felt that as a momentum boost. I felt like we went out there, we got a 3 and out, and then there was the call on the face mask, which is what it is. I mean, that was a game-changing play for us. So got to stop. Obviously, whenever that extended the drive, and really at that point, that was probably the most disappointing aspect of the rest of the game, because I didn't feel that we rose to the level of response that was necessary. And it was it really was a kind of a gut punch in that situation. They went down and were able to score. Obviously we had they had the 2 scoring drives there, and then we had the pick six, and it just kind of all built upon itself on that. And it was that's the things that as I talked to the team yesterday, as to go back and watch the film, it was the lack of response there in the second half when things weren't going or didn't go the way that we wanted, the way that obviously we needed to go. And that's where you got to have guys that step up, and who's going to take control of that, who's going to be because we talk about leadership and what does that look like. Well, in those moments, the leaders go make the play. They go stand up, give all that they can, and go execute in the moment. And that was what was lacking. And we've seen that in the past. We've seen that even the week prior, to finish the game. We saw that in tough and challenging situations where guys answered the call. They were put in the moment and went and made the play. And we didn't have those plays made there in the second half when things didn't go well. And it was a disappointing outcome. And obviously coming back, we have to go get better. And this week, we got a great challenge, with the team, playing probably as good as anybody in the league, one of the better, playing as good as probably anybody in the country right now, and what they've done. And right now we probably played on the complete opposite spectrum of that. So we've got to have a great focus on us, and we got to have a great focus on our improvement, from the details, the work, the response, all things that are critically important for us to go and get better. But I did, which I've just said multiple times throughout, and I thought our guys came back, and last night, and it was a good work day, and I thought the ownership of action, the things that showed up and occurred, and then the willingness to go jump on a practice field. We got back at 5 in the morning on Sunday morning, and so it was an early morning. Obviously a short rest, but they came out and they pushed, and it was a good start to the week. But it's the application, all things throughout the week, and making sure that we're doing everything in our power to go be our best come Saturday night, and that will be our focus. And obviously we're going to do everything we can to put our guys in a position, and then to be able to go out there and execute in the moment.
First question will be Ira, front row on your right. was DJ health-wise, and how did Brock look when he was out there to you, and what's going to go into the decision-making process this week?
Obviously, yeah, I mean, DJ is something we're going to evaluate throughout the course of the week, and you'll kind of go see where it goes from there. And I thought Brock, going in all reality, I said it after the game. I mean, after the interception, just kind of where the game. I mean, it was decided I was going to make the change. Obviously, DJ did have the injury there that as well, but just wanted to see that opportunity for Brock to go in and have a chance to execute. I thought he did some good things. That had a nice throw that wasn't that we didn't finish on. I thought he did miss one of the vertical shots that you had an opportunity. I thought it was a touchdown play. And then but overall operation of what he was asked to do was good. It wasn't shocking to me. Brock and Luke both do a great job in how they prepare. They try to prepare as if they're going to play every play in the game. And if you do that, then when you get in the game, it's usually going to translate a lot better for you. And I thought he was ready for the moment. And obviously those guys, both have to go and prepare at an elite level this week, and we'll see how things play out throughout the course of what this week holds.
Come to Chris, front row on your left.
You guys played a good bit of depth in that game, especially some young guys that kind of got burned previously. How did they handle it? How much do you continue to try to push and get more guys out there and see what they can do?
Yeah, it's going to be a continued push to put the best guys that can go out there and be productive and be able to make plays there in the moment. And there are open doors of opportunity, and there's a lot of evaluation, and it is an absolute push, at every position for guys to raise the level of productivity, and to, for guys that are looking for more, they've got to go earn more. And anybody can talk about it and sit there and say, well, I want to be playing, or this guy should be in, that guy should be in. But ultimately they got to show that they're prepared for that, and the way that they work throughout the course of practice. And then if they do a job that shows that builds confidence in their teammates and their coaches and everybody that they're ready for that, then when that door opens, you got to go perform. And I thought there were some good things. I thought there were some good plays, and there was also some moments for some of those young guys to see that the areas of improvement, and that sense of urgency for improvement is there, and obviously we'll build upon it.
Stay here for Brendan.
How'd you consider, and then maybe to clarify, when you played Brock, was it because of DJ's hand injury, or was it just time to
No, I was going to. When we had the pick six, that was it was going to be an opportunity for Brock to go in there, and it was 13 minutes or something in the fourth quarter, I believe, and I was making the change at that point. And I'll say this: it was there's a lot of things that we go back and look in the game, and DJ did make a lot of good throws that throughout the course of the game. Some good decisions. He made some poor decisions and a couple bad throws that you got to surround it, and you got to help the quarterback position. And I don't think we've done a good job of that consistently. And at the end of the day, we all have to have ownership in that. And so, for what that was, it was. And from protection to finishing plays and catches when you get the opportunities, and then making sure that the quarterbacks are making the right reads, putting the ball where it needs to be, and playing at a high level. So it is all things, but at that point, it was I was definitely, you've got to make the change there for that game.
All right, we'll go second row for Jordan.
Coach, in the second half, when your team doesn't respond like that, is that more of the coach's message falling flat, or the players not playing with the right attitude?
No, coach's message doesn't really change here. It's go be the best you can possibly be, and you go and respond to. Don't be driven and affected so much by the circumstance. It's still about the opportunity, and you gotta. If you're a real one, you're gonna rise up. And I say that and I believe we've got a football team full of real guys, and guys that have done it before. But if you get caught up in the circumstance, right, you put yourself in a position, right, to to be swayed by the emotion. And, you know, nobody wants to be down, nobody wants to be tough, be put in tough situations, nobody wants to have, you know, anything bad ever happen to them. But when it shows up, I mean, who are you? Right? And the real ones, oh, they rise up and they go make the play. They want that. They are willing to step forward. They're willing to take the brunt of all things and still just put themselves out there. And that is a challenge. Right? And I told the team right there after the game, and I told them again last night, I mean, if that's leadership, because you know, real leaders are not affected by just the swaying of the wind. Because if that, then you're going to be, you know, you'll be up some days, you'll be down some days, you know, hot and cold. But if you've got a purpose and you're an absolute, you know, what you think you are or say you are, then go be it, and be it consistently throughout the course of the game. Whether you're up, whether you're down, let that show up. And, you know, if you get discouraged or disappointed because the outcome is not where you want it to be and you hold back, well, there's the hesitation, and sometimes there's a lot of things that go into that. It's you know whether it's the fear of failure, the fear of the disappointment of coming up short. I mean, but that's part of it, right? And, you know, ultimately you got an opportunity to go out there and, you know, you go make the play. You take all the things that you work to do and you put them into action in those moments. And, you know, it's our job as coaches to help put those guys in the best situation, to help you know, showcase that, to help them in that response. But yeah, I mean, that's where we all have to get better. And you know, as a coach, as players, I mean, you know, in those moments, man, that's where we have to be our best, and we have to be the realest to who we are and what we're all about. And you know, you can point back to reference and look back, and, you know, a year ago we won 13 games during the regular season championship. And 4 of them we were down 10 points. Right? And what happened in every one of those opportunities? Oh, the real one stood up. And some of those guys that are on this team right now were those guys. But now, you know, as we, and I said this, you know, throughout the preseason and all of it, is like watching a team. You always, you know, you build it, you put it together, and the excitement about what the potential can be. And I am the ultimate optimist. I mean, I see what people can do. I see what I believe they can become. I see what I feel and what I have a sense of the potential of a group. Right? But it still comes down to the moment of truth. And I think I was asked the question, maybe in the opening press conference, what's your concern about it? Well, it's in the moment of truth, what's it going to look like? Right? Because you still have to have the guys that step up in that moment and be what they're capable of being. Right? You have to have you know, coaches, players, everybody involved. Like when it doesn't go the way that you necessarily want it, because it shows up in every game, every year. You know, very rarely you look at a team that wins a championship and see just the smoothest of rides, because that response has to be a part of building, you know, the core of it. And I don't think we've handled that very well. And, you know, it's not from a lack of want to, but for whatever it is to make that connection, to go execute then, to be able to make the catch, make the block, make the tackle, you know, to make the throw, whatever that part of it is. And now we've seen flashes of it. And I have seen some positive responses. It's just not been consistent enough for us to play to the level that we're capable of, and that's what we have to continue to work and get better at.
All right, stay there for Kurt.
The change on the depth chart with the co-starters at quarterback, is that just because of the uncertainty about DJ's status, or is there a world where a change is made kind of independent of injury, even if DJ was good to go?
Well, I mean, obviously DJ, it's like one of those, like, I really don't care about a depth chart, to be honest with you. Right? Like, it really means nothing. And so to put a status, like DJ didn't finish the game because he couldn't finish the game. Now, I've said that I was going to put Brock in at that moment too, but obviously right now there is a little bit of uncertainty of status. We'll see what that looks like as the week goes on, but it doesn't really matter.
We'll go to Liam, second row on the right.
It's gonna be another depth chart question. I'm sorry. You've got 3 tight ends. Obviously, the interception, Kyle kind of bobbled it and goes in the SMU player's hand, but Landy gets his first touchdown. Just what did you see out of those guys in that tight end room to lead to that decision?
Yeah, I mean, that's a position where we have to be better. And you know, you look a year ago, I've got a confidence and belief in Kyle, I do. And you look a year ago, you look percentage of opportunities and targets and catches and guys making the play, you know, he was as good as anybody we had. And we had some really, really good pass receivers last year. This year, I mean, there's been some struggles. There's been some tough moments. There's been, that was a you know, obviously a huge play in the game. And, you know, there's nobody more disappointed in than Kyle. And but right now it still comes down to production, to execution, and so, you know, if there's doors of opportunity are there, then the guys have to take advantage of that. And, you know, I mean, I was really happy for Landon to be able to get that first touchdown. And, you know, you can go through the game, and there's still some things that, you know, he's going to have to take some great strides in to continue to be what I know he's capable of. But, you know, that position has to go and get that. And you know, so, and you can see it across the board in this wonderful depth chart that we put out. That, I mean, there's still there's a lot of positions that have to be better. We're not playing very well. And so I did suggest putting an or on everybody, but like it's you know, it's at the end of the day, you know, we got to go do it. And you know, it's, you know, the belief that I have in the guys that I get to coach. I mean, that's unwavering. You know, because I am around them as much as anybody. And so with that, it's what you do in the moment. And that's where we get to prepare our butts off and go push to be better. And then when we get out there on the field, the better has to show up. And if it doesn't, then there's got to be somebody that takes advantage of the opportunity and goes and helps this football team win games.
All right, we'll go back to Ira on your right.
I'll preface this, I'm gonna start off with an individual player, but it's about the position group. I was watching Darius before the game, and he seemed to be very animated, like he was trying to get guys fired up, and he was the one that looked like was giving the whole speech before they went in the locker room. But then he has a false start, and Maurice had some bad snaps. And that offensive line, like, you would think that would be a group that the team could lean on. What do you think's gone wrong for that group?
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's been a lot of change in you know, availability, guys that have played, where they've played, you know, what they've done. You know, we do have probably the two guys that are you know, with JB being out and kind of, you know, he did get to play there in the last game, but, you know, with Darius and Maurice, and those guys are two guys that have played well here and have played at a high level, and, you know, they have to be it. And I've got, once again, just perhaps the last question I just answered, I mean, I've got the ultimate confidence in what they can do, but in those moments, I mean, they have to, as the leaders, I mean, it's got to show up. And you know, I think that's where, you know, it's a responsibility, it's a challenge, it's all of it. But I mean, they're built for it. They've lived through it. They've been through it, and it's what this team needs. And guys that have been out and been productive in critical, challenging, hard situations, well, we need that now. And that is where, you know, you know, I know it's like, what, you put your finger on why, you know, that's what's you know, you get frustrated with as a coach of, you know, the things that you're looking at through preparation, the things that you've done that even these individuals have been very successful with. Like, well, now it's, you know, what are the tweaks? What are the things that, you know, where we can eliminate some of those mistakes, because they are amplified mistakes when it comes from them. I mean, it's a first year starter. If it's somebody that's new to it, then, you know, there's still some things that they're working through. But you know, that's another part of the challenge to them and a challenge to us, because we got to make that connection. And I would tell you, if I sat there and watched these guys and I felt that they, you know, were pulling back, or it wasn't, I mean, you meant like in pregame, Darius doesn't even like to talk. I mean, he doesn't really just enjoy doing that, but he wants it, and he wants it for this team, and he's willing to try to push, to try to encourage. But then, you know, in those moments, you gotta stay focused on those little things. And I mean, that's why I'm grateful for him, willing to take those steps. And now it's about, you know, let's just control things we can control as well, and continue to bring both, because that's what this team needs.
Come back over here to the left for Brendan.
On the interception return for a touchdown, there was a few players who seemed to be hustling, Kentron, LD. Did you see that enough widespread from everyone responding to the miscue there?
Yeah, I mean, you want, you know, were there guys that counted for loafs? Yes. I mean, so, I mean, it was not, uniform of what it was, and, you know, obviously those are things that, you know, every play would be great, and so, but I did, you celebrate the, you know, guys that are putting on display what the expectation is, and that's where, you know, for us, you gotta continue to push that standard, and, you know, we have, obviously there's accountability in all things, and, you know, how we play in the good and how we play in the challenge is all, like I said, it's a reflection of the identity.
We'll go second row on the left, back to Kurt.
I see Richie Leonard not on the depth chart this week after he didn't play. I guess what is his status? And then on top of that, the two guards who got in, Bryson and Andre, how did they perform? I know they're listed as co-starters now.
Yeah, you know, I meant to mention that in the opening, but Richie Leonard will be out the rest of the season. You know, unfortunately, has had an injury that he's been dealing with, and it's kind of got to a point where it's greatly affecting his, you know, ability to be able to go out there and play. And so, you know, he'll be out for the rest of the year, unfortunately. And then, you know, obviously, you know, with the opportunities of Otto and Estes, I mean, those guys, you know, they are the guy. You know, obviously Bryson's been in the program for a long time. You know, he had an injury coming out of the spring, basically missed the majority of fall camp, and so he had to. You know, he's had to kind of work himself back into it. I thought he had a really good spring, but, you know, our guard play, you know, it's not been as good as it needs to be, and you know, that's the reality of it. So, I mean, those guys are gonna push for opportunity, and, you know, we gotta go get better. And I thought Andre, you know, he's still young and still growing in a lot of areas, but I mean, you felt his presence, and he moves well. He plays with physicality, you know, and that's what those guys. I mean, they. You know, every chance they get to step on that field, they got to go play confident, play fast, and you know, be able to transition you know, those techniques and fundamentals that they work on, you know, in the course of action.
All right, stay there for Jordan.
Coach, 2 weeks in a row, the defense has given up over 400 yards of offense to the opposing team. Is there one thing that you can point to of what you guys need to do better on the defense side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, you got to help eliminate the explosives. I mean, and, you know, there was 5 different plays where. I mean, a couple coverage, you know, issues, and you know, just to be real, you know, two of our better players that you know, shouldn't happen. And you know, when those things show up, you know, we've got to take accountability, ownership. You know, players, coaches, everybody involved. You know, making sure that we're clear in that expectation and its application of that, but we've got to eliminate the explosive play. Obviously, you know, I thought we're still, you know, too loose in areas there in the run game. You know, we got to make sure that we set the edge, and guys are aggressive to setting the edge of a defense, because too many times the ball got outside when we have people that are in position and need to go force to get it back to everybody else, and just a little bit too much hesitancy when it came to that. But you know, I did. With the negative, I mean, there was also some guys that I saw that played at a higher level, and you know, some guys that had, you know, were more short tackling, that were playing more aggressive, that you were playing with more confidence in what, you know, some things we're asking them to do. So you know, we gotta build upon that with all 11 guys that are out on the field.
All right, last one, we'll go to Ira.
Aside from the quarterback situation, how many different things have you guys tried to do offensively? It feels like from week to week there have been tweaks and things you put in. Are you finding anything that you feel like this offense can do, or do you have to keep trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think even in that game the other day, you see the opportunity. I mean, you see the opportunities for the, you know, whether it's for the explosive, for the, you know, the routine, whether it's, you know, but it's the, you know, we have to eliminate the self-inflicted issues. And I mean, you know, whether, you know, first, you know, it's the second, third down, you know, we have the snap. We've got, you know, we've had a couple, you know, missed assignments of things that, nauseam, you go over and it's executed in practice, and you know, even when it's been a mistake, you go back and you hit again, and then if it shows back up even further, then, you know, that's where you have to look at, you know, where's the disconnect? Is it focus? Is it understanding? Is it, you know, whatever that is? But you know, somebody has a history of, you know, being on the offensive side of the ball, you look, are we creating space, are we creating opportunity, creating numbers, leverage, those things that are important. And then, for guys, like, I mean, we had a couple explosive plays that, got called back for whatever, for a holding penalty, or we get, drop ball, or missed opportunity, or something that's, those are the things that we have to be able to finish on. And, it's one thing if I'd never seen them do it, but it's also, you gotta carry it over. And, we're gonna continue to adapt and adjust. I mean, I'll say until, our performance on offense has not been good enough. But when you have those opportunities and you have the space, we gotta capitalize on that. And, the playmaking ability, which I do think we have, I mean, it's gotta show up. And, that's one of the things that we're gonna continue to push towards. But, I do believe that, it is there, and I do believe that there are capabilities of what it can be. And we got a great challenge this week against, a great defense to try to go put it into place. And that's what we'll work towards this week. And, I'm excited to see our guys respond to it.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.